Turkish parliament at the moment. This is one of the places that was targeted on the night of July 15. The F-16 fighter jets bombed the parliament. But interestingly, while they were doing that, the parliamentarians remained inside, and there was a message of defiance calling on the people to fight for their democracy. Well, joining me now is Dr. Ravza Kavakci Kan. She's a member of parliament from the ARK party. Dr. Khan, what has changed in Turkey over the last 4 years?
A lot has changed, I think, for Turkey and for the world. That night in 2016, July 15th, Turkish people took a stand to fight against democracy. I think they basically redefined the term fighting for democracy. They were out with their bare hands and with their flags, and they stood against the violence, the oppressor, the coup attempters on that night. So a lot has changed. Of course, we have lost 251 lives, our martyrs, and we have 2,194 people got wounded, and millions of unsung heroes were outside that night, and they stood against all the F-16 planes and the tanks and the people who actually wore the very uniform of our military and the traders, and they took a stand against them. So it was a very, very sad, horrific night, but we woke up to a wonderful morning. We're at the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, as you mentioned. That night, members of parliament who were in Ankara, because the parliament wasn't in session, all of them, they came to the parliament from all parties, and the very next day, about a few hours after the last bomb was dropped on close to the General Assembly chambers, after just a few hours, the parliament was in session, and all parties signed a common declaration. So this is something very valuable for Turkey, and of course we mourn for our loss, but we're also celebrating the victory of the Turkish people. It was a civilian movement, non-violent movement, a stand against those who wanted to take away all our freedoms, basically. So it took a lot from us. But also it brought us our unity, national unity. When we were out on the streets that night, Abdullah, there were people from all walks of life. There were people who voted for different parties. There were young people, there were old people, there were even non-Turkish citizens out on the streets who stood together in solidarity. This is very valuable. Of course, after that came a painful process of getting rid of this infiltration that had taken decades and decades, slowly, the infiltration of the terrorists in different state institutions, private institutions. So that was a painful process. Most cases are completed. They came to a decision, and there are still court cases going on. And in this process, we want to make sure, as members of parliament and as Turkish citizens, that everybody gets a proper judicial hearing and are able to defend themselves, and the courts decide according to the rule of law if they're guilty or innocent. It's been a long process, but Turkey has come out of it much, much stronger.
Now, we've heard from President Erdogan earlier. He talked about some international threats to Turkey. He talked about domestic threats. What more do you think needs to be done to address those threats? It
is interesting. I mean, I'm old enough to remember how things were in Turkey growing up. But over the last 2 decades, Turkey has grown, has faced a number of threats, like the coup attempt, like economic interventions in our economy, international interventions, and these are very open, very transparent, like threats over even social media accounts, like Twitter accounts, like President Trump's threats to come to Turkish lira. So we've gone through a lot. I think these are growing pains. Turkey has, like I said, come out of it in solidarity. But one of the things that Turkey does is stand strong, stands up for the rights of the underdog everywhere. Doesn't have to be Turkish nationals, people all around the world. So Turkey, this strong Turkey is, I don't know, maybe it is not wanted in the area. We see that during this process, as we came up and we're still healing the wounds of the coup attempt from 4 years ago, we've had to deal with economic interventions, we have had to deal with other international embargoes, other things that have gone, that have affected our economy as well. But we've come out stronger during even the COVID process. As we try to deal with the effects of COVID, Turkey has sent aid to almost all of the world, all the states. So Turkey has come out of this stronger. This has been a very sad experience, but hopefully we will come out of it stronger and stronger.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ravza Kavakci Kan, Member of Parliament from the ARC Party.